to Make a Killing first up. Tragedy Strike. Oh, this is the wrong one. I almost read the synopsis for Wuthering Heights. Disowned at birth by his obscenely wealthy family, blue-collar Beckett Redfellow will stop at nothing to reclaim his inheritance, no matter how many relatives stand in his way. Glenn Powell in the lead role, Margaret Qualley, Jessica Henwick, Ed Harris, Topher Grace, Zach Woods, Bill Camp. Not doing well at the box office. A humongous dud. 3.3 million domestic opening. Really a bummer, I think, for a movie like this, that no matter which way you cut it, if you like it or not, like these are the types of things you wish it would do better. Loosely based on a 1949 British dark comedy, Kind Hearts and Coronets, starring the late, great Obi-Wan Kenobi himself, Alec Guinness. Hour and 45 minutes long, directed by John Patton Ford, who also did Emily the Criminal a couple years ago. Really good under the radar movie.
So good.
Seen it? Go check out Emily the Criminal. I think we interviewed Aubrey Plaza for that movie, right, Kenjac?
We did.
Yeah, really good movie. Go check it out. 76% split Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb 6.8, Metacritic 51, Letterboxd 3.3. Kenjac, what did you give How to Make a Killing?
By the way, I was looking up the history of the production before this, and I realized that this was in a blacklisted script for a while, and originally it was going to be the two big characters. This was going to be Shia LaBeouf and Mel Gibson.
Oh my
were the
God.
original two guys were cast for this movie in 2013 or something like that, and then it went to hell and then now revived again. So yeah, I think we ended up with a better movie than that probably would have been. I ended up with a 72 out of 100 for this movie. I think this is a smooth, sexy, sometimes funny thriller that I liked. I think Glenn Powell, after watching this, he already one of the most handsome men in the world. He is the most handsome man alive in this movie. And I think he shoulders a really heavy burden as the lead and the narrator, which I think he pretty much nails. I don't think a lot of the supporting cast gets enough time to make a huge impact, but they were all good. And I really like the way this movie was shot. I think I looked up the cinematographer's name is Todd Bonhazel. He did Winning Time, and I think you could see a lot of that sort of work, the way he shot that in Winning Time, and also in this, that sort of like old school rich guy home video Succession intro type shit, which I really liked. I think my issues just kind of come at the runtime. I think this should have either been a little bit shorter, specifically the ending, or longer. I actually texted Gooch after this, and I was like, this would have been an excellent miniseries if you had an episode spent with every one of the heirs that they talk about, because you get guys that can make a huge impact like Zach Woods and Topher Grace, but you just don't have enough time with them really to kind of benefit from what they bring to the table. And I also just think it could have been a little bit better if it just committed to more of the dark comedy aspect or just to the drama aspect, one or the other. I think that it also, to close it, I think this movie emphasized something for me, which is that with Glenn Powell, he's just too handsome right now to play anybody that's struggling. And I don't know if you guys agree with that. I feel like a lot of movies recently, they cast him, whether it's, Running Man, it's Hitman, it's Anyone But You, Set It Up. It's very hard for me to ever buy him as somebody who is struggling in life, in anything, in money, in love, in career. It's very hard for me to kind of cross that barrier because he's too handsome. People that handsome and charismatic are not struggling in any facet of their life. I think he should be on the Matthew McConaughey track where he's too handsome for his own good. And that is his bigger struggle in the movie. And then as he ages, you age him into the ones where you get more depth out of it. But I liked it. It's just, there's definitely some structural issues. So enjoyed it. 72 out of 100 for me.
Gooch, what did you give it?
Had a lot of the same problems. It's very weird. My feeling leaving the theater, because it's I liked it. I really did. And I think a lot of that just has to do with the ensemble. And I never felt myself bored or wishing a scene would end or confused by the decisions being made, really. But it really is just less than the sum of its parts. There's just a foundational issue in the way that it's paced and the way that it moves, where everything at the end just falls flat. And maybe this is because we've had this type of movie quite a bit lately. I see a lot of people calling it Eat the Rich, and I don't know if I'd go that direction with it. It definitely runs in a very similar lane, but it's very class commentary, and it's remarkably similar to a Korean movie that came out a month ago that came from one of our greatest filmmakers. So that's tough when it's being compared to, just a lot of better movies. And maybe that's where my issues lie, is just comparison is the thief of joy, and I'm thinking about these other movies and then wishing it was that good, and it's just not. So I'm landing at a 60 out of 100. I could come back to this and end up liking it more. I doubt I go lower than that because, like I said, I really think the ensemble showed up and carried this movie front to finish. Front to finish. Glenn Powell is just a star. He very clearly is, and this was nice to get him back in a role where he gets to be more charismatic. The Running Man felt like something he was trying to do where he was trying to, I think, get out of his like comfort zone a little bit and be an angry guy, a very intense person. And it lacked those moments of brevity that this film allowed him to really flex, and he gets to smile big and, work a room. So that was nice. Margaret Qualley showing off her legs the whole time. Good Lord. John Patton Ford knew how to shoot those legs. He really did. And then Zach Woods. I had no clue outside of Qualley and Powell who else was going to be in this movie. So Zach Woods showing up, Topher Grace showing up. Loved them. But it just did not end up being one of the great crime comedy, class commentary movies that I really thought it might be. So 60 out of 100.
Yeah, which I do feel like we all kind of grade on like mildly different scales. So mine's only going to be like a hair lower technically number wise than Gooch, but I think I liked it a pretty good amount less than you. I gave it a 59. I didn't really care for this movie. It did not work for me. I thought it was weirdly mismanaged in terms of like pacing and storytelling and runtime. Like I think I agree with Kenjac completely. Like not enough breathing room on so much of this. We'll get into spoilers in a minute because there's one part in particular I was like, that's what we got just now. This is not much of a spoiler, but obviously like there's like if you're aware of what this movie is, you kind of get the concept a little bit, right? Like there's the intent of him killing people, blah blah blah. The explanation of some of the kills felt like repetitive and like kind of weak. And I was like, that doesn't like, okay. I don't mind suspending disbelief. I do it all the time. Like, I know we talked about it for other movies on here too. Like I can suspend disbelief to levels that are probably like inexcusable at times when it comes to liking movies. But this one I was like, man, I'm like, you really got to kind of cut some corners on some things. And it just kind of took me out of it a little bit, which I don't ever love being critiqued, but that's just how I felt on this one. And I don't know if he was the right person for this role. He's very charismatic. Now, there's a similar movie in the sense of like Killing, but like it's a really not similar Hitman that he was in, which I just think that's a better type of role for Glenn Powell. More charismatic, and he doesn't do a bad job with this. I just don't think it fits. And also, like, I will say too, do you guys agree with this? The way he was in the jail set, and I guess they do explain it. They explain a little bit his demeanor at the end, but the way he is in the first 5 minutes, like he's this very Patrick Bateman-y kind of character. Yeah. That's not really what he is the rest of the movie either. Like that isn't really. Again, they kind of explain that a little bit. Like, and this is not a spoiler, but he mentions a calm demeanor when they cut back to it later on, which I guess that explains it mildly. But even then, it was kind of a psychotic like Patrick Bateman vibe in the beginning. It just wasn't who he was the rest of the movie. I was like, oh, okay. It's also my biggest complaint about this movie, I think, is that it's very clear it's supposed to be a dark comedy. I just didn't find it very funny for most of it. The funniest part was Zach Woods, hands down. Like I
so good.
He's so fucking funny.
Actually, I read a review before I saw it that said he wasn't in it. I actually thought all we were going to get was the fake video at the beginning. He was in it for a little while, and I think the entire time he was in it, there's a dinner scene with him. It is so fun. He is just such an asshole.
So good.
Also, I saw the movie with someone who's never seen Silicon Valley, and they've only really seen him in The Office. Oh. Which, if you only seen him in The Office, like I hated him because Gabe is so annoying. But over the years, Gabe grows on you because you're supposed to hate him. But once you see Silicon Valley, you just think of Zach Woods so differently. So I think that did help. But yeah, I was quite. I mean, I didn't hate my time, right? Like you kind of said, Gooch. Like I wasn't. There was no point where I'm like, ugh. Like I kind of want to get out of here. Like I never thought that, but I was kind of waiting for more and like never really totally got. And there's one thing particularly we'll talk about in spoilers in a second that really irked me. But yeah, this was a bit of a letdown. I think you said it best, Gooch. There's a very similar movie that just came out that's just better too. Just way better.
It's so, when you really just think about it, it is so similar to No Other Choice. Like he's just lining up people to kill him and take out his competition to climb the class ladder. Like that is the movie, and it's better shot, better paced, funnier, like more well acted. Like it's tough. It's very tough. And this, how do you guys feel about like, this is so weird that this is the follow-up for like the problems that exists in this movie for John Patton Ford, because I think Emily the Criminal, its strength was its pacing. The way it was constructed, it moved so well. And for that to be an issue here, that's the last thing I would have guessed, to be honest.
Maybe part of it is just like Emily the Criminal was pretty straightforward, and like this one, like you got time jumps, you got a lot of different characters you got to talk to, you got like all these different places you got to go, you got a lot of this other like whatever settings, locations, and all this shit, and a lot longer of a period to pace it out over. And maybe that was it. But I would agree with you. Like Emily the Criminal, I think maybe it's because it was just so stripped down and it's so simple and straightforward. And like as far as again structure goes, I really like that. And man, just thinking about the Zach Woods. Do you remember the scene in Silicon Valley where he's talking like they're trying to act cool? And he's like, "Hey, Dinesh, nice chain. Do you get it when you what do you say? Do you choke your mother with it when you put your penis in her butthole?" And like, God, dude, he's so funny. Yeah,
his delivery the entire show because that character is really not that much dissimilar to Gabe in The Office. Yeah. No. But it's just I don't know why it fits so perfectly because he's kind of on the level playing field with like the Silicon Valley bros, tech nerds. So he's.
Would you guys agree with the miniseries thing though? Because I feel like this is really like there's parts of this like there is obviously I think a great movie here somewhere because all the parts.
I mean, we should spoil it because I think it is tough to talk about just some of like what happens. I would agree with you if this was like more drawn out and like I appreciate that some of the kills were glossed over quickly, like that adds to the humor a little bit. But then like you do it a couple times, so it's like okay, like that kind of felt stale. And the big thing for me was. The showdown with the grandfather at the end just felt so weird. Quick and so
just a waste of Ed Harris.
Big waste.
Not satisfying. And even like I guess I don't need the explanation of like I guess I get why he threw his daughter out of the house, but like if you revisit it and you don't give me much more, it just feels kind of weird. I don't know, it just didn't land. Like it didn't hit. It was a cool scene. But like the emotion of it, the payoff, like because that's the moment to make this guy who you probably shouldn't be rooting for. That's where it should really make you want to root for him. And it kind of never delivers there.
Yeah, I think if you get like that was a full finale episode of a series, and you get like a full episode of Zach, like even Topher Grace, I think was really good. You just get 5 minutes of him. So like if you get a full episode with him, you get a full episode of this guy and you see the development of like Glenn Powell as the character going from like being this guy I'm from the streets, I'm gonna work my way up, I'm gonna scrap, I'm gonna claw, to like kind of turning into like I'm a psychopath. Like that could have been I think interesting just given more time. There's just not enough time. There's not enough time for a story like this, and I think it's different with something like No Other Choice because like it's not family, it's and these aren't like real characters. A lot of them is just it's just different. It's a workplace. So I don't know. I think it would have been better suited for that. What did you guys think? Because this is my other big thought leaving it. I wish the ending it ended 5 minutes earlier. Because I did not like the second added on bit to the ending. It should have just ended, I feel, with him in the jail looking at the clock being like, she's coming, right? And like, bam, cut the black, you're done. But like when they added on all that stuff, I'm like, what are we doing here? It's not over yet? Like
I wouldn't have minded if it would have ended when the guy said, "You're not gonna fucking believe this." When the guard says that to him, he's gonna let him out. Like I'd have been okay with that too. I do agree with you.
Well, you had to get he had his little like Shiv moment in the back of the car. Yeah. Like that was basically the Shiv getting in the car with Tom at the end of Succession. And he just like
shout out to great YouTuber, Cosmonaut Marcus. He always talks about needle drops, like overuse of needle drops. I thought there was too many songs in this movie. Like I think like an overload. Some great choices, some really worked. I thought that last song did work with that scene, even though Kenjac didn't love it. But like I thought there was a few too many song moments that I didn't love.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm trying to think.
What's up next for Glenn Powell? This has been a little bit of a skid for him, and I'm
not
worried.
I wouldn't say in any of those movies, like he's kind of a do-it-all guy, but you need to have him in the right spot. Like I don't think it's ever a movie like with Running Man or this or other things where I'm like, this movie is bad because Glenn Powell is wrong. Like I've never like he's the reason this is failing because he can't act or he fails here. It's usually like maybe this movie isn't built correctly around him, and I think if he was better fit, it would be great. Like I never like he's doing a bad job.
Yeah, I don't. And like and we're gonna do our list later of like 10 people who could be like superstars in Hollywood, and that's obviously a very tough thing to define. Like if we're gonna put it up to the level of Tom Cruise, I'm not sure anybody can be anymore. Like I just don't think that exists anymore. But in terms of like big stars, like he's well known, he's a star, but he hasn't reached that level yet where like you're racing out to, where even like you're getting the hype, right? Like I gotta say, it hasn't shown in the box office for her, but even like Sydney Sweeney's movies at least I feel like get talked about more than Glenn Powell's movies, right? Like, and obviously they were together in a romantic comedy that did very well in theaters. And like her box office performances have been some duds, though I do think even though she was the worst part of The Housemaid, she is what made people probably go see The Housemaid. Like she was kind of like the name. But him, it's like you don't hear about. By the way, I live in like a weird zone where like the theater I go to is like 10 minutes where he went from high school. And I literally think that people show up to support him like it's like a football game. I think they play lacrosse at Westwood here in Austin. But like it's always packed for Glenn Powell movies here. So if you only lived here, you would think his movies make $10 billion. but everywhere else, like you don't. Like if I would have said a couple weeks, and granted the Housemaid's based off a big book, I get that. But even then, like even that the boxing movie, I feel like kind of made its way around the internet, right? Like you even saw like the screenshots, and I don't know, it's an interesting discussion with him because I think the best thing he's in right now is Chad Powers. It's not even a movie.
Yeah. So like I think the way you would work more with the comparison with something like Running Man, where it's a remake of an IP and it's based off a book from a storied author. I think with this, I don't think the expectations should have been box office smash
for sure.
Like, definitely not as bad as it is, but it definitely shouldn't have been like, holy shit, how is this not making like $100 million easily? Like it should have been. I think the expectations are certainly a little bit lower. And for Housemaid, yeah, I would agree. There is definitely a big section of people that were not going to go see this because they didn't hear the book, and then they hear Sydney Sweeney's going to be a big movie where she's butt naked. I'm going to go watch it. So there's definitely an element of that which you don't get out of Glenn Powell.
There's also like Sweeney for The Housemaid. The reason it worked is because that's her audience. Like that is her audience that she is pitching to. The boxing movie doesn't work because the audience for that is not her audience. Americana, smaller movie, but didn't really get talked about because very much not her audience. Powell's audience is middle America. That's just what it is. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just he is a middle America face and actor. His choices lately, I think, have veered away from that. Twisters was a good hit for him. That was for middle America.
Yeah.
Yep.
Chad Powers has been good for him. That's for middle America.
Twisters is tough. So how much of Twisters do you credit the fact that it's fucking Twisters?
It's Twisters
right.
plus
like if it was like
existing IP.
If it was a movie called like Tornado Alley and it had nothing to do with the original movie, like I do wonder.
Man, he was so cool in that though.
I don't want to like be. I like him a lot. Like,
I love him.
If I'm making a movie and I'm making a big thing, like I'm like he's going to be someone who's just like I like him quite a bit. But it is like it's. And again, this wasn't going to be a box office smash. You said it right, but it is like there's a level of hype with his stuff that just isn't there. And he also picks different projects, right? Like maybe he could just lean into only doing big time blockbuster stuff. Maybe that's his goal, but I'm not sure it is either though.
So he has coming up from what I can see a Ron Howard firefighter movie, which I don't know if that's the direction. Or maybe it is. It might actually be the perfect direction for him. I'm not sure.
I was about to say that actually sounds like that sounds like it's good for him.
The Natural Order, which is a Barry Jenkins movie about no plot yet, but he's only capped one cast so far. He has an untitled Judd Apatow Universal project about a country western star having a dramatic downfall that must navigate their career in freefall. Interesting.
Yeah. That sounds great.
And then The Great Beyond, a newlyweds couple struggles to survive against a supernatural entity from J.J. Abrams. Okay. And then Chad Powers. So I mean, some interesting stuff there. I would say I think the country western thing sounds like you could not draft a better fit for him there. And Ron Howard maybe. Ron Howard firefighter movie might actually be fucking awesome. We haven't had a good firefighter movie in a while either.
He looks good just in uniform is the thing.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that you put him in like any kind of serviceman uniform, he's gonna look good in it.
It's like Johnny Sins, PG.
He's the Johnny Sins of actors.
Yeah. Like you have him like with the like the nursing outfit, like
oh my god, he loves wearing costumes. So I mean,
he does. He fucking loves dressing up.
Yeah, he needs too. Like even nesting doll of it. Yeah,
I can't decide if he needs to like continue with the bit like that, like being just part of his like every single role I guess he's ever gonna do now, or if he just needs to ditch it because it does feel like it's getting a little ham-fisted into these movies at this point. One last compliment on him because I know we were kind of ragging on him here for 5 minutes, but we all really like him. I'd also say there is an interesting element to him where he's a screenwriter, and I find that very fascinating. Like he's very clearly interested in becoming a writer, which for a guy who looks like him and has those leading man charms and qualities, it's like That's an interesting pitch. It's like a guy who can throw 102 and then has a knuckleball in his back pocket.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious how many more, like, does he go back to the well and like the blockbuster stuff? Does he go back to the well and the Twister stuff? And like, I don't know, or does he try to do smaller things? He try to do, things that might hit in different ways than a Top Gun or a Twisters. So it is very interesting because I don't know what his end goal is. I assume it's not. I mean, people like to anoint him as like, Tom Cruise light, right? Because he's kind of took him under his wing and all that stuff. And I'm not sure that's the path that makes sense, or that's like what he'll be. Because he is still very popular, he's still very well known. But it is a very intriguing thing to kind of break down for me, because that's kind of all I thought about when I left the movie yesterday. It's like all I thought about.
He might be a really interesting bad guy, because think of how good he was in Top Gun in that role. Like, he was awesome, like charismatic, handsome, like, man, girls want to fuck him, guys want to be him type dude. Like, he could have performances like that, but obviously, like, I feel no Hollywood agent wants that for an actor in this stage of their career, to go into the villain realm. But man, he could be really good at it if you wanted to.
They should remake Man from U.N.C.L.E. and let him be like the American agent. I don't know who would be the British one, but he would be great as like the asshole American agent.
Ooh, yeah. Wait, so he would be the Soviet, or he'd be the American, you're saying, or the Soviet?
Oh, wait, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. Wait, who does is Armie Hammer an American in that movie?
Armie Hammer is the Soviet. Henry Cavill is the American.
What the fuck? Yeah, no. So he would absolutely be the American. Like, he's just too American.
He's definitely the American. The Soviet, that would be interesting. I wonder who that could be. Oh, Sklenar. There we go. Book it.
My guy, Brandon Sklenar. My
boy. Make $1 billion with Brandon Sklenar as your Soviet agent.
The boy, as they call him, Brandon Sklenar. That's how they
Klemmer's number one. By the way, for our draft or our ranking coming up, he would be Klemmer's number one with the bullet. Brandon Sklenar.
Klemmer would, yeah. He's a Sklenar head. He fucking loves Sklenar. Yeah. Wait, what did you call him? A Sklenard?
He's Sklenarded.
He's Sklenarded. You never go full Sklenard.
That's great. That's great. We gotta keep that one alive. All right. So, How to Make a Killing. Kind of a range of like okay to didn't enjoy or didn't love. Definitely check it out. Because I do think there's a group of people who would love a type. Just it is like it still can be a fun watch if you really, I think, turn your brain off and not get too lost in it. But I think the potential is what crushed me here. I just think it could have been so much better.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's How to Make a Killing. I would say check it out, but temper those expectations.